Good afternoon, everybody. It's Lorraine Alternative Homesteading on Saturday, July 19, 2025. And I hope everybody's doing well. And hello, talented individuals. And yes, thank you so much for that new terminology, because, targeted individuals, it just sounds like there's like a target on our backs or something. But, we're the ones that they're banking on. They can't bank on a bunch of morons, can they? I mean, they have to bank on the talented individuals. So anyway, I made two posts on the community page, and one was a flyer. And I remember this flyer from 2018. Karen Stewart, retired NSA Intelligence Analyst, sent it to me. She sent me like all of her flyers, and periodically I'll either read them out loud or post them in the community page. And this one is, ironically, entitled Fascist, Predatory America. Please remember to hit the thumbs up. It helps the channel grow, get the message out there. And let me read this to you. And of course you can share the post on the community page under posts. So here we go. Numerous 9/11 anomalies indicate that this event was at the very least preventable, at worst planned by the shadow government as a ruse by which to grab power and keep it. Post 9/11 laws like PAA and NDAA were designed to begin the subversion of the Constitution, just as the Nazis did before attacking their own citizens. Excuse me. These criminals, my throat is so dry. According to Supreme Court decision Marbury versus Madison, 1803, any law that contradicts the Constitution is void. According to Norton versus Shelby County, 1886, someone that contradicts the Constitution is void. Oh, I'm sorry. I just read that. According to Norton versus Shelby County, 1886, someone enforcing or following an unconstitutional law to the detriment of someone else cannot be protected from prosecution for criminal activity or conspiring to commit criminal activity. So why do we have qualified immunity? Qualified immunity would be a contradiction to these laws, particularly if any law enforcement is deleting someone just because their feelings got hurt, or because they're on steroids and their aggression is out of control. They need to be held accountable. The Department of Homeland Security, DHS, was designed by consulting with experts from the former Soviet Union's KGB and the former communist East Germany's secret police in regard to surveilling, controlling, oppressing the population, not protecting it from foreign or domestic terrorists. So that's, according to Karen Stewart here, the Department of Homeland Security was designed by communist East German secret police. Isn't that amazing? The DHS, Department of Homeland Security, has admitted that they have almost non-existent criteria for putting someone on the so-called terrorist watch list, meaning their criteria is actually less than probable cause. Congressman and head of the Intelligence Oversight Committee, Trey Gowdy, who I love, and actually I have a rooster named Trey Gowdy. I have a rooster named Trey Gowdy. I also have a rooster named Snowden. Congressman and head of the Intelligence Oversight Committee, Trey Gowdy, South Carolina, affirmed with the DHS management that they have no vetting system in place and no appeal system in place to prevent innocent people from being put on the terrorist watch list. And I'm going to say that is carefully designed that way. It's deliberately designed that way so that there's no method for you to get on, find out how you got on, why you're on, to dispute it. There's no due process. So anybody who doesn't like you can place you on a list. Somebody, revenge for hire, You divorce somebody, you don't want to date somebody, like Helena Zorba didn't want to date that cop because he was married. And he put her on a list, watch list. The more people on the terrorist watch list, the more money DHS and affiliated federal and private contractors who have little or no supervision get. There's no oversight. FISA courts have proven to rubber stamp any accusations about quote-unquote suspicious behavior without proof. The FBI, who I call my favorite bureau of instigation, has been caught submitting fraudulent accusations numerous times to the FISA courts and has a long history of criminal activity against innocent people for political reasons. Remember COINTELPRO, right? They can't confirm or deny you're on a list in the name of national security. And that's a ruse for job security and covering up their organized crime network. After 9/11, fusion centers were set up in every state to fuse federal information with local for better communications between federal government and local law enforcement, ostensibly to not let other terrorist activities occur. Yet, innumerable Islamic terrorist incidents still occur due to the total lack of immigrant vetting, coupled with purposeful enticement of millions of immigrants from hostile nations. Could this be to create the problem? Now remember, this was written in 2018, before that last criminal president, tore down the wall and let everybody come in. This was 2018. It's almost like she was predicting the future here. As many of hundreds of thousands of innocent native-born Americans with no ties whatsoever to the aforementioned openly hostile nations have been put on the terrorist watch list for being too patriotic, too concerned about government trampling our constitutional rights, too concerned about foolhardy immigration policies, too cognizant of our history, too concerned with human rights, too well trained from serving their country in the armed forces, or too concerned about the integrity at their jobs or in their communities. Are these really the people who are in danger, are a danger to our country? Secret, unconstitutional civilian vigilantes associated with fusion centers, and which are named such things as InfraGard, Citizen Corps, the COPS program, the criminals on patrol. And I'm just going to add here, the POPs, the predators, perverts on patrol, the WAPs, the witches on patrol, the MOPs, the morons on patrol, and the LOPs, the losers on patrol. They're all paid under the table tax dollars to criminally harass so-called, quote-unquote, terrorists. As ChatGPT calls me, I'm a person of interest. I'm so interesting. They have to watch me 24/7. That I'm so interesting. I'm a person of interest. They all seem to be generational American citizens or long-time naturalized citizens. They're not recent immigrants with terrorist ties or leanings. So there are many stories have been published about foreign teas on U.S. soil being totally ignored by the FBI until Americans have been unalived and deleted by them. Why? Well, we all know for a fact that my favorite bureau, they haven't prevented one serial mass shooter. Zero. You want to know why? Because they've created them. They created them, instigating them with microwave weapons, harassment, tormenting them through InfraGard, Citizen Corp, your criminal neighbors, poking, harassing them, stealing their mail, throwing stink bombs, killing your animals and stuff, trauma-based mind control, satanic ritual abuse. So all of this being done on U.S. soil and ignored by my favorite bureau and the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, and my favorite bureau, through the fusion centers, also blanket a targeted person, an innocent victim, by spreading absolute fabricated lies to their neighbors throughout their neighborhoods as well. Typical lies are the person is a terrorist sympathizer, a child molester, drug addict, drug trafficker, trop prostitute, racist, anti-Semite, whatever plays well in that neighborhood. Like my neighbors here have pulled my workers aside and told them that I don't pay people. How do I know that? Because 2 of them actually told me that. That's right, criminal neighbors. 2 of the people you confronted actually told me what you said. And of course, my neighbors tell everybody to not clean my property. So they're littering it with poopy diapers, dildos, dead animals stuffed in the mailbox, which is a felony, by the way. Tampering with a mailbox, which is a federal crime. But they don't care. They're protected by the sheriff. Yeah. So the typical lies include whatever plays out in the neighborhood. Like in New Jersey, because I was a divorced single woman and I was dating and stuff, and they called me a skinny little whore. Yeah, that's what they told my neighbors. But here they couldn't do that because, I'm like totally celibate here. So they had to concoct other things, like go to the local veterinarian, Dr. Rebecca Caleb Wilson, the Anvil Veterinary Clinic, and tell her to not take me as a client. And she has the audacity to say that I don't get you and you're not friends with my friends. That's right. Imagine. I'm not friends with her friends. How would I possibly be friends? Who are her friends? I should have asked her. Maybe I should call back and ask her who her friends are. And we can get that on video and post that online too. But anyway, so the typical lies are what I just mentioned. And in essence, the fluid lies are told to gullible hysterics of all races, creeds, colors, religions, politics, to foment a false basis for fear and hatred. Very few have brains to question, why have I never seen any indications of this? 2, why has no one ever seen any indications of this? Why have the police or FBI not followed legal procedures in regard to probable cause? Why are the police or FBI paying civilians to illegally stalk someone in their stead when they have the mandate to deal with real threats? Good point, Karen. Why are the police or FBI asking untrained, and I need to add moronic, psychotic, civilians to endanger themselves, their children, or elderly parents who they are encouraged to bring along with them by engaging in such activity if the targeted person is such a danger? Good point, Karen. Why would my neighbors want to trespass my property if I was that dangerous? They would be risking their lives, wouldn't they? Why are payments to proxy stalkers hidden under the table gift cards, merchandise gifts, service gifts, home improvements, landscaping, prepaid vacations, or even dropping criminal charges against those, quote unquote, upstanding citizens, helping to proxy stalk, harass, commit break-ins, pet deletes, murders, vandalism against the so-called threats, who, by the way, almost never have a criminal record. And at last but not least, why are DHS, FBI, local police, InfraGard, quote-unquote, partners, awarded shares in fraudulent life insurance policies? You better not fucking have a life insurance policy on me, you losers. Fraudulent trust funds, fraudulent property purchases. I'm the only buddy that purchased this property. Lorraine Valente, etc., taken out in the victim's name when the targeted person succumbs to poisonings, gassings, choreographed car accidents, covert weaponry meant for war or assassination, acquired by the Department of Homeland Security and passed out to dubious mercenary civilian sociopaths like Candy. Could this alternative predatory society have been set up from the trillions of stolen federal tax dollars covered up by 911 and the State Department thefts? This was written by Karen Melton Stewart, NSA Intelligence Analyst, retired. Dated July 2018. I look forward to your questions and comments. Remember to hit the thumbs up. It helps the channel grow. And you can share this video, or you can share the actual words that are typed in the post on my community page on the home page here. I'll show you here. And I look forward to your questions and comments down below. Oh, yes. Tell me, what do you think the narrative is that was spread in your community about you? And has anybody that has worked for you or anybody in the neighborhood actually ratted out what it was that was spread about you? You know, sort of like the two people that told me that they were told that I don't pay people. Yeah, I get to live here for 6 years not paying anybody. That's right. Yeah, right. Yeah. Anyway, this is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. And yes, I will have the live stream tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Give or take a few minutes. It depends. It's raining outside, and it's taking me like a long time to get the guineas in at night. They're driving me nuts. So just know that if I'm not there precisely at 10, it'll be shortly thereafter. I'm going to sign off for now.